Let me get right to it. The ACLJ is filing a major lawsuit against President Biden and his administration today. One group asked for Rick's information when he was director of national intelligence. All they said was all of it, emails and text. And they got him within a year, no lawsuit. When we ask for the current ODNI's information, and you say all, we hear nothing for 2 years. Okay, we were kind of planning this. And ultimately, they would usually then write back when you file a lawsuit, which we now have, that you can't be that broad. Well, then we're going to point to the other one and say, well, why didn't you do that then?
The best we can tell, they got it in a record-breaking time. They got, I want to point out something too. They got it without qualifiers like subject matter and things that we're constantly made to comply with. They got it without having to file a lawsuit, which we, as you pointed out, really essentially always have to do. And so we do what we have to do to get it. And the double standard was just obvious.
On the top of that, we have uncovered, and this is new case law in D.C., in the federal court in D.C., a new way to approach FOIAs. Folks, this is groundbreaking, so I don't want you to miss it. There is an entirely new way. It involves the violation of the First Amendment and what we've been talking about, this two systems of justice, viewpoint discrimination, treating one requester different than another, a court has found is unconstitutional.
Violations of the First Amendment can take many different forms, and this particular subset involves denying, treating somebody differently or denying a benefit or a right, something you're entitled to, which the FOIA law provides, based on their viewpoint or the content of their expression or what they're asking for or what they do with the information they get. And as I was reading that court opinion, I was realizing, wow, that's exactly what we're wrestling with a federal agency.
What it does is it puts viewpoint discrimination right at the heart of the FOIA request, which opens up even more documents that could be available under FOIA, like why are you dragging your feet? Are you dragging your feet because you don't like the viewpoint of the ACLJ, but you do like the viewpoint of BuzzFeed, who was going to beat up on Rick Grinnell, but you don't like ACLJ because they may be beating up on the current ODNI?
That's exactly right. And the channel for that could be another follow-up FOIA request, which we very well may do. But more specifically, and I think what excites me the most is the opportunity to get into the discovery stage.
As we allege in our complaint that the defendant, ODNI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, gave the ACLJ's FOIA request unfavorable treatment because of the ACLJ's inclination to criticize the agency. It is the core of viewpoint discrimination that we believe now can be applied in the FOIA litigation process, and that could fundamentally change things in our favor in a huge way.
I'm confident it will, and I look forward to the opportunity to litigate this and to build this out even further and take this forward. And like I mentioned, to get to the discovery stage where we can take it beyond the allegations and the facts that we've already compiled, but get more specifics, more the internal communications and things that we would only be entitled to in discovery. Because remember, Jordan, there are things that we can't get through FOIA that we can get through federal discovery.
If we can change the playbook, we can change the world. And I think that is a big part of this, which is finding new ways to take on issues that maybe seem set in their ways. Whether it's the way we handled religious freedom in the old days by coming up with it being a free speech argument, it's a very similar way. So as you said, looking for new strategies. And as I said, if you change the playbook, you can change the world.
I think this is groundbreaking. I think we are the first to do it this way. I've not heard of another organization, conservative or liberal, that works on FOIAs. There's nothing against them. I just don't think they may have done the research to see how this would apply, or they might not have had the right case. But because of Rick Grinnell and the attacks on him constantly coming in from the liberal media trying to get every email he ever wrote as DNI and every text he ever sent as DNI, he's in a unique position. When I sent that email to him, he said, let's do it. So it's great to have even team members at the ACLJ willing to go to court, willing to say, yeah, I want to fight back on this. But you don't have to be Rick Grinnell to fight back, Logan. And that's the important part of the ACLJ story always.